So something that I've come to learn about myself, unfortunately, is that I'm the type of guy that needs to learn things like the hard way. Like if there's an easy way and a hard way, I'm always choosing that way. It's like that's the way that I learn. And even though I may have people telling me, don't do this, you shouldn't do that, avoid that, right? I'm the asshole that's gonna try it anyway. And then I'm like, oh yeah, that's the way I shouldn't do it, right? I learn everything the hard way. Everything in life, I learn the hard way. And everything in business, apparently, I have learned the hard way over my illustrious entrepreneurial career. And that today is what I want to talk about. I want to go over some of the hard lessons that I've learned. Unfortunately, I wish I learned them sooner, but as long as you learn them, I guess that's the important part. But my hope is that this video can help you, because you undoubtedly are smarter than me. And I guess that's kind of the place I just want to start, right? If I can do what I've done, right? Like, I have totally outkicked my coverage in terms of my skills, in terms of my ability, in terms of my intelligence. Like, I am not that smart. I am, however, a very disciplined person. I'm a very hard worker and hard-headed, right? And if I can do what I've done, you can do what you want to do. And you can be wildly more successful than I am, or than I've been. Because literally, I am going to take the hard way. I am going to try to fuck things up. And now, do you know what I say every single morning when I get up? It's my mantra to myself. Every single morning, what I say to myself is, don't fuck it up today. That's the first thing that comes out of this mouth every single morning. And the reason is because I truly feel like each one of us is like one or two bad decisions from being broke or in jail. And I've worked so hard, and I know what it's like to not be happy. I know what it's like to be filing bankruptcy. I know what it's like to not have any hopes or dreams because they've all gone up in smoke. I know how bad it is, and I know what it does to you psychologically. And I am so thankful that I am happy and that I am where I am, that it's not lost on me. And I honestly am also super thankful that I wasn't successful when I was younger. Because if I was rich in my 20s, I'd be dead by now, or I'd have like 18 STDs. Seriously. I am so thankful that success came after a bunch of failures. That success came after I was basically broke my entire life, because I feel like I appreciate it more now. And that's one of the other reasons why, and the inspirations for starting the White Label Empire. It was to help guide people, or basically help people avoid some of the speed bumps that I've hit, and basically to help fast track them to the front of the line in terms of success. Anyway, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time pitching the White Label Empire, but we are building millionaires in there. We are building businesses. And if you're somebody that is interested in starting a business or being an entrepreneur, join today, do not wait, because we are doing some amazing things, and it's not just my opinion. This community is the best thing I've ever done, period. And the reason I say that is because of what I'm helping people do, which is realize their dream, not feel like a failure and a loser like I did my entire life, and also become financially secure and realize their full potential. And there is nothing better than that, in my opinion. Guys, I'm gonna link down below to the White Label Empire. If you haven't yet, join, I encourage you. Because the sooner you join and the sooner you take action, the sooner and the closer you're gonna be to realizing your potential and building your business that is beyond your wildest dreams. And like I said, if I can do what I have done with this brain, this body, my resources, you are gonna be so much more successful than I am. The first hard lesson I learned that I wish I learned sooner, I guess I should say I learned it very early, but I didn't know that it was actually going to be a benefit until later on in my life. Being poor and growing up without is actually an advantage, or it can be your biggest disadvantage. And why I say that is because when you're poor, when you grow up with hardship, you're either going to choose one of two ways, right? You're either going to go the way of, I'm a victim, I can't do it, I haven't seen anybody do it, I'm never going to be successful, I'm going to be a loser my whole life, right? That's one way. And that's the way that the majority of people do, right? It's this whole, poverty mindset. The other way is the road that I chose, and the road that the other people in the White Label Empire that are in there that have similar backgrounds and stories to me have chose. And that is, I'm going to be successful despite my situation, because I can tell you something from experience. When you grow up without, when you have to struggle, when you see struggle around you, it makes you tougher. It also makes you basically ready for what you're going to have to endure when you decide to go down that entrepreneurial road, which is the second lesson that I learned the hard way, and that is it is painful. It's hard, and it's not for the faint of heart. Not everybody is supposed to be an entrepreneur. Quite the opposite. Most people aren't. right? Because it takes a different skill set. It takes a different mentality. It takes a different stomach. You've got to be able to endure the pain and the suffering that comes with starting a business and everything not going the way that you think it will or your mom told you it would. Which brings me to the third lesson, and that is surround yourself with better people. Because if you're asking people that are your friends that love you for advice or a direction, they're going to lie to you. And the reason is because they want you to feel good. They want you to be successful, but they really want you to feel good. They don't want you to be upset. And so when you go to them with an idea or a business option, right, they're going to be like, yeah, sounds amazing. Yeah, you can do it. Boom, 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 right? Right? When the truth is that you need friends around you that tell you, yo, stupid, that idea fucking sucks. Which brings me to the next unfortunate lesson I learned the hard way, and that is be very, 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 very careful about who you choose to go into business with. Family members, bad idea. Close friends, bad idea. People that you want to maintain a relationship with for years and years and years to come, probably a bad idea. I've lost a bunch of friendships over the years from people that I thought I should go into business with or asked me or wanted to. And I thought, yeah, let's do this and let's do that. And you know, my gym, you know, the business partner that I had, Linda, she was like my best friend. She was an older woman that basically took a chance on me. And I've talked about it a bunch. But I haven't talked to her. Listen to this. I haven't talked to her in probably 20 years. When our business failed, she wouldn't talk to me ever again. And I didn't understand it at the time because I was so upset. I'm like, wait, you're my best friend. Like, what was going on? Like, I really, you know, cared about this woman. And she wouldn't talk to me. And I found out through her husband that her husband, who she ended up divorcing during this time because, like I said, when businesses are going well, and that's the thing that you see, right? And that's the one thing I just need you to understand. What you see on social media, what you see from all these videos and people like killing it and being like, yo, you're so successful, right? That's like, I can't even explain. Like, that is like the 1%, right? The majority of the time, you're taking punches. The majority of the time, you know, you're getting your ass kicked and you're having shit come up that you've got to basically figure out or modify or change or shut down or do something else or go to ask for people, like ask for help from people because you're fucking broke. Like, that's the reality of entrepreneurship. And I didn't know that going into it. Did it mean that I wouldn't have done it if I had known? No, because I was too stupid. I needed to figure things out the hard way, like I said. And what she said to him was, I can't talk to Aaron because it feels like we lost a child. Meaning like we had a child that died and it's too painful. Whenever she talked to me, the pain and all the emotions and all the stress and anxiety that goes along with something failing in terms of a business, it was too painful for her. Now, looking back, I feel like her not being around is the best thing that ever could happen to me because it made me stand on my own 2 feet, be a man, and figure it the fuck out. I would not be the man I am today. I would not be successful if I was still trying to basically be her friend and try to correct a wrong that I felt happened, which was our business failing. She took a risk. She lost a bunch of money. So did I. When I filed bankruptcy, it was $500,000 of debt that I ended up bankrupting, right? Which is something else you got to be ready for. If you're going to borrow money from somebody, be prepared to make the phone call and tell them that you lost it all. And that was a hard lesson that I learned, one of the hardest lessons that I learned during that time. I raised money to start that fitness center, and one of my best friends, he invested $25,000. He's not like a rich man. He saved and he just believed in us and he believed in the concept and what we were doing, and he invested $25,000. I remember it like it was yesterday. Sitting in the floor of this fitness center that I was trying to start. We started like a group fitness facility trying to franchise it. And I remember calling him and just crying. And just had to tell him that it's gone, that we're shutting down, and I'm sorry, but I lost your money. It was one of the most brutally hard things that I've ever done. You know, and I'll never forget it. Now, the good news, there is a good news, a happy ending to this. I paid him back once I got successful. And so that was awesome. But a lot of people, from what I understand, you know, don't do that. And so you just got to be aware that that is one of the hard calls you have to make. If you need to borrow money, be prepared to make the call that you lost it. All right, which brings me to something else. Do not borrow money you don't need. If you don't have a plan for how you're going to take this cash that you are getting, whether or not it's from an investor, whether or not it's from your mom or your weird Uncle Barry or a bank, do not borrow money that you don't need or you can't deploy in order to make you more money, right? One of the big mistakes that a lot of these people and companies make that raise a bunch of money through like private equity, right? They get fucking wasteful, they get sloppy, and they never actually build a profitable business. And what ends up happening is sometimes the money runs out or nobody will lend them anymore and the business shuts down, files bankruptcy out because they never figured out how to make a profitable business, which is the next hard lesson I wish I learned sooner. It is all about profitability. Do not worry about the top line, right? Everybody likes to talk about the top line, right? The top line revenue. I did 10 million, I did 20 million, right? I don't give a shit about that. What do I want to know? I want to know how much money went into my pocket. What's the bottom number, right? And if you're not building a business that has a bottom number, the business is not sustainable, period. Cash flow. It all boils down to cash flow. As Kevin O'Leary says, cash flow is the lifeblood to business. If you've got too much inventory sitting on the shelves that you can't sell or you don't sell it in a fast enough time that it doesn't expire, thank you. I threw out so much shit you can't even imagine, right? Because I overordered. I ordered too much inventory, right? You're wasting money. You cannot utilize the money that is sitting on the shelves in product. You've got to have money and you've got to be willing and able to basically push down the excitement, right? Because that's the thing. Everybody's like, I'm gonna sell $10 million, right? Everybody goes best case scenario, all right? That never typically happens, all right? Worst case scenario probably doesn't happen either. It's usually some hybrid of that, somewhere in between. One of the worst things you can do is overorder inventory that you can't move or you can't sell. Because like I said, it doesn't matter if you've got $2 million worth of your cash tied up in inventory sitting on the shelves. If you don't have $2,000 in your checking account to pay rent, guess what? You're shutting down because your landlord is foreclosing on you. You need to have money in order to deploy it to sell the product, but you don't need too much shit on the shelves. And so what I would recommend is order low quantities to start, then test the market and see what happens, which brings me to the next lesson I wish I learned sooner. And that is brand awareness is bullshit. Marketing is the biggest black hole of business in terms of money and cash flow, because marketing is one of the things that everybody needs, right? Without it, you don't succeed, you don't sell anything, because without it, you're not getting in front of anybody, right? I often say that you can have the best product in the world that will cure cancer or teach blind kittens to read, but if you don't have a way to get in front of those people or those blind kittens, you're not going to sell any. And so marketing is even more important than the product that you're selling. A lot of entrepreneurs get caught up in the product, right? The features and the feel. And oh my God, look how sexy. And everybody's gonna love it. But they don't think about the more important thing, which is marketing, right? It's not about your product being amazing. We're gonna assume all your products are. It's about how are you gonna get it in front of all these people that are gonna buy it, open their wallets and actually buy it. But brand awareness, this is what a marketing agency or somebody will say, or a marketing director that basically didn't convert any sales, right? Brand awareness is Pepsi, right? Doing a commercial on the Super Bowl or whatever it is, right? That's brand awareness. You're getting a lot of brand awareness. Everybody's hearing about your brand, but isn't converting sales now. That's something that you need to figure out and you need to focus on today, not later, all right? And that's one of the other things. A lot of companies that raise a bunch of money, they'll do like big brand awareness plays. Fuck that. I want to know if I spend X dollars, how much money I'm making back. And then how much profit. And then the other thing you need to understand is your numbers do not lie. All right? No matter how much you think, no matter how much you hypothesize, what do the numbers say? The numbers don't lie. And if it's showing that you're not making money, guess what? You're going broke. And if you don't right the ship and figure it the fuck out, you're going broke. It doesn't matter how amazing the product is and how cool and sexy. It doesn't fucking matter. What does matter is profit margin and having enough of it in order to use it in order to market to customers, all right? And that's another lesson that I learned with Enemy, right? Not to mention, There's some people, once again, you shouldn't go into business with. I lost another friend over this business that I was trying to help out. Anyway, that's a whole different story, different time, different conversation. But if you don't have enough margin in your product in order to use it for turning the lights on, keeping the electricity going, paying your bills, paying you if you need to take a salary, or paying the marketing, it's not the right price, or it's not the right product, or you just haven't figured it out yet. Which brings me to something else. You gotta make sure you price your product high enough. And this is one of the big mistakes. If you're competing on price and trying to be the low-cost provider to everybody and beat the competition because you're the cheapest, you will lose. It's lonely. Being an entrepreneur is one of the loneliest things that you can do. And I didn't realize how lonely I was and isolated until I met Antonio Centeno, right? Antonio, my boy, and he's become one of my absolute best friends, and I would do anything for him. But he basically opened my eyes to a different way of thinking, but also a different level of friends and surrounding yourself with people that actually are similar to you. And that's another reason why I'm just gonna tell you the white label empire is so amazing. It's lonely being an entrepreneur because you can't go to your friends that don't understand what you're trying to do, or they're happy with their 9-to-5 job and they're like, yo, I'm going to Disney next week, Brian. And I'm like, awesome, that should be fun, right? And I'm thinking about, dude, I'm trying to launch this new sexy thing, and oh my gosh, what, like, oh my God, my vendor just told me I need to leave, and like, I'm dealing with other things. And when you have somebody that you can actually go to that gets it, or a group of people that actually gets it and that is there to basically facilitate your growth, but also just be able to listen to you, I think that's an incredibly valuable thing that you need to look for. Because your wife, your significant other, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, like whoever, they're gonna get sick and tired of you getting excited. And that's something that I realized. My wife one day said to me, she goes, you know, it's hard being married to you. And I go, well, I know that, but why? Why specifically now? She goes, it's hard to always get so excited with you. And I go, well, explain that a little more. And she goes, well, you get so excited, and then I see you not succeed or something not go right, and you're so down. And then you got something else, and you're so excited, and I still am thinking about that other thing, and then it doesn't work out. Or then you're on to something else, or you got really excited about this, and then I decided that's a bad, like, it's hard to maintain that excitement, and also just it's hard to be around people that don't get it, and that's something else. Your friends and your circle is going to dictate where you go in life, but also where you go in business. If you're surrounded by losers, guess what? You aren't going to be successful. Hate to break it to you, but you're not. If you're surrounded by people that are uplifting, that are all moving and striving in the right direction, you have found your tribe. These are the people that can facilitate growth, but also help you on your journey to the top. They're also going to be there to help you up when you get punched in the fucking face and knocked down and kicked by life and business and everything, because it'll happen. All right, what I've come to realize business is, it's systematically and consistently putting out fires and solving problems. It's not about counting money. It's not about, being on the cover of like magazines because you're so wildly successful. It is a never-ending battle of getting punched in the goddamn face. And just when you think you figured it out and everything's good, guess what? You better start ducking, because it's coming and it never fails. You always get knocked down, but you got to get yourself back up, and that's the thing. And the other thing I've come to realize is that, I thought that once I made enough money, right? What's enough? It's relative. That I wouldn't worry. I wouldn't, I'd be happy and everything would be, awesome. And I've also come to realize that it's not the money. Right? That is not why I signed up for entrepreneurship. It's not to build a nice house. It's not to drive an average BMW. I'm kidding. I love my car. It's great. It's the goal setting, and it's the struggle, and it's the pain that you get. It's almost like this sickness, I think. I truly feel like entrepreneurship is an addiction, because you get addicted to the feeling. You get addicted to the adrenaline. You get addicted to making money. You get addicted to the process. They say that it's the journey, not the destination, or something like that. And I didn't believe this. When I was young, I'm like, no way, right? When I have a chain of 2,700 fitness centers, I'm going to just be like, yo, I'm going to just be like the coolest cat in town, and I'm going to be amazing and feeling incredible. That's not what it's about. It's about the process. And that's something that I didn't realize. It's also something that it doesn't even matter, right? I love the struggle, if I'm being honest. It doesn't feel good at the time, but it's these struggles that make the successes that much sweeter and that much more beautiful. And that goes the same for life, right? It's not about trying to be perfect. It's not about having a perfect life. You need to have the challenges. You need to have adversity. You need to overcome things in order to feel fulfilled, in order to feel successful. And for me, what I've come to realize is that, money, the old cliche it's relevant, right? Money can't buy happiness. It can make things easier and life a little bit more tolerable when it comes to putting out and solving problems. But money can't buy you happiness. It can't buy you health. You got to take care of yourself. It doesn't matter, how much money you have. You got to be healthy. I had a bleeding ulcer because I was so stressed out about my business and my fitness center collapsing. Every day I'd get a headache. I'd get a stress headache. I'd take 2 Advil. I'd chase it with black coffee every day. And I had a bleeding ulcer. It almost killed me, literally. The doctor said I was 1 day away from bleeding out, right? And it's because of the stress. I didn't manage it, which brings me to another lesson. You got to figure out a way to manage the stress. And life-work balance is bullshit, right? No matter how many people say it. You know who says life-work balance? People that have jobs. Not people that have businesses. They have jobs. They're not doing anything for themselves. They're working for somebody else to make somebody else rich, right? But people that have businesses, it's not a work-life balance. It's a balance. How do you balance? There is no right or wrong answer. It's about taking time for yourself, for your family, for your loved ones, but it comes at a price. Success is painful. It's painful for everybody. And if it's something that you're signing up for, you got to be understanding that your family is going to suffer as a result. Now, they also are going to reap the rewards, but you've got to be understanding that it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for everybody getting involved, right? And this is something that I think a lot of people don't realize. They think, oh, it's just me, or I'm just dealing with it or suffering. But they're seeing you. They're seeing you suffer. They're seeing you cry. They're seeing you stress out about money and cash and not being able to basically just sit on the beach and chill and drink a margarita. You're checking your phone because you're worried something's going to go wrong, or you've got to take a phone call at a family dinner because something just crashed. This is the reality. This is the reality of being in business and in entrepreneurship. I wish I learned it sooner. I wish I knew it, but it wouldn't change anything. It's the most beautiful thing you can do, but it's also the most challenging. And if you are somebody that is interested in starting a business or doing this or living this life, congratulations. And I'm also sorry, because it's both things. It's the highs, it's the lows, it's the beauty, it's the ugliness, and it's life. And it's something that I love. Unfortunately, I think life would be simpler and easier. And I actually think about that. I think about, it'd be a lot easier if I didn't have drive and motivation and goals, right? I could just go to work, I could punch a clock, I'd be happy making $150,000 a year. And I feel like that life, it seems like it would be easy, right? And it seems like it would be nice if I could just shut my brain off and not be motivated or not want better for myself. Unfortunately, it's not how I'm wired or built. I got to suffer. And I learn everything the hard way. Hopefully, some of my lessons will be insightful. Some of them, maybe you'll have to learn the hard way as well. But the bottom line is this: as long as you learn them and you're still standing, you're in good shape.